This is a research project I recently wrote, and I'm exploring how we can use persuasive technologies in AI for task recommendation and matchmaking. So pretty much trying to build a platform in which people can coordinate tasks based on intrinsic motivations, and how can we help use information technology to combine like what you need with resources. And because my first thought was, it's easier for matchmaking if we have a tag system, so it's easy like to combine interests, skills, and needs on all of that.
How history is kind of often repeating itself, and there are these communications problems don't occur, I think, when you exactly know who you are dealing with.
Like, these are things that we can look into. This kind of dispute resolution process from Dan Larimer, it's very interesting. This kind of community code of conduct, we could have something like that. And one of the ideas that we'll have with the agreement is that when people sign the agreement, they'll get a hat from Hat's protocol, which is a protocol for setting up organizational roles. So for example, we could token gate like participation in events to if people have a certain NFT.
The activities and the people, they don't go away. They take the learnings, but they establish a new environment usually, or are going to put more energy on a different, not a silo, but like a different group.
Welcome everybody to Eden Town Hall. Eden Town Hall is a vibrant community forum dedicated to exploring the future of collaborative decision-making and fractal governance. This follows each Eden Fractal event, where we dive deeper into ideas, innovations, and strategies that are transforming how communities coordinate and make decisions together. You can learn more at Eden Fractal, or no, not Eden Fractal, at edentownhall.com. Welcome back, Rosemary and Flavia. Hope you enjoyed the Respect Games. We're going to start the town hall momentarily. I'm just going to make a quick presentation. Then we'll have an open floor where we can all discuss what we'd like at this week's Eden Town Hall. So we can have basically an open discussion about what people are like. We'd love to hear people's feedback about the Respect game. Hope everybody enjoyed and had fun, as well as the future of Epoch 2 and our next steps as a community. As well as one thing I'd like to discuss too is the Cagendas rules. Cagendas is a portmanteau. It's short for community agendas or collaborative agendas. That's how in the past in Eden Fractal, we had decided the topics of our discussions after playing the Respect game, and it's also how at Optimism Town Hall we also discuss choose the topics of each event as well, and also schedule events now. And there's an idea to potentially introduce a minimum threshold of respect required to trigger an Eden Fractal, or an Eden Town Hall event rather. Eden Fractal event will recur on a bi-weekly basis regardless, but at Optimism Town Hall we recently implemented a system where it needs to get a certain amount of votes. A topic needs to get a certain amount of votes on Snapshot in order to get to trigger an event. So that's something that I'd like to bring up to see what is the best cadence and system for organizing Eden Town Halls in the future, to make sure that we're optimizing our resources and having discussions that are most helpful. But anyway, we can get into that in a bit. Encourage everyone to join and to invite friends. We'd love to meet new people, and you can register on the Optimistics event calendar, lou.monstersoptimistics. That way you can get email reminders for each event. And you can also join the Eden Fractal events an hour beforehand, bi-weekly on Thursdays at 7 UTC. The town hall happens at 18 UTC. And check out edenfractal.com to learn more. Eden Town Hall is really supporting Eden Fractal and the entire Fractal ecosystem, and working to help optimize collective decision-making through collaborative research development, education, gamification, community engagement, with a particular focus on fractal decision-making processes, which you can learn more about at edenfractal.com, explore the blog and the videos and so forth. And you can register for our events, as well as the Optimism Fractal events, on lou.monstersoptimistics. As most people here know, we recently entered Epoch 2, wrapped up Epoch 1. We had a great anniversary event. You can learn more on the blog and watch all the videos on the Eden Creators YouTube channel, as well as our anniversary celebrations and our revival of Eden Town Hall, which has come back after a 1.5-year break for our 56th and 57th and 58th episodes. So encourage you to all watch it for more details. Also want to give a quick announcement that we also published the 56th episode of Eden Town Hall, which is a couple years old now, but we just never got around to publishing it. So you can now find that on the Eden Creators YouTube channel too, for a great overview of Open Mic Night with with Eric, an event that he shared a couple years ago. And then the more recent material, the Eden Creates YouTube channel from our anniversary celebrations there. So just for a bit of context, like I said, there's this proposal that got passed by the Optimism Fractal Council recently. And right now, Eden Fractal doesn't have a specific consensus process for a legislative consensus process. That's something we've been considering. But so there's I suppose a question about exactly what the best consensus process is. We have ORDAO for an executive branch right now, but the idea that we usually have is a tripartite governance structure. And we've talked about during this Epoch 2 in this season of Eden Fractal, implementing various things like an official community intent and also a legislative consensus process similar to the Optimism Fractal Council. But there's lots of things we'll have to do throughout the season, and we can discuss that today or in future events. And for some context, at Optimism Town Hall, so you can check it out optimismtownhall.com if you're not familiar with it. This is an event that we host after Optimism Fractal events that we've been doing since May 2024, and we were previously doing this after every Optimism Fractal event in playing the Cagendas games inspired by Eden Fractal. And we recently approved a proposal, the Optimism Fractal Council approved a proposal to save resources mostly by implementing a minimum vote threshold for Optimism Town Hall. So there's like some rules about how Cagendas can work here, about how basically whichever topic on the Optimism Town Hall snapshot space that has the most votes at 17 UTC will be the topic that's discussed at Optimism Town Hall. But we also added another rule basically that there will only be an Optimum Town Hall, and it will only be triggered if it receives at least 2,000 respect votes. If a topic receives at least 2,000 respect votes by Monday at 17 UTC, that way we can make room for Eden Town Hall. That was one of the ideas here because we have a small team organizing events, and so saving time is a very helpful thing. And so there's more details here about this proposal for people who are interested, but I kind of just wanted to float this idea with people and see what you think. If people are interested in doing the Eden Town Hall every week or every other week rather after Eden Fractal events, how much demand there is for that, or if it would make sense to implement this kind of Cagendas rule where we only have Eden Town Hall events if there's a topic that's voted for by community members. And if so, we have to make decisions about like what would the minimum threshold of respect be and so forth. And happy to go into more details about that for anybody who's interested, but want to just put that idea out there because I'm curious what everybody thinks is the best idea going forward. And then, yeah, there's also a post here with Optimism Governance Forum where you can learn more. And then I also wanted to bring people's attention to, so just before we started the town hall, I was talking a bit with Sebastian, and Sebastian had shared some really thoughtful and great comments in the Eden Fractal Telegram chat about the potential and risks of Eden Fractal Epoch 2. These are in the Eden Fractal Telegram group in the live chat, so you can see them on screen and read into them more deeply throughout the week in Telegram, and encourage people to respond and share. He has a bunch of questions here about fractal governance and community coordination and decentralized systems. So this can also be a great discussion, like source of inspiration and source of questions for our discussions at today's event too. Really appreciate Sebastian taking the lead on both exploring some of our prior resources like this Eden Fractal 2025 strategy document that I've published last year, as well as asking all these questions and thinking about all these really insightful questions and comments. So I started drafting a response in Telegram, and if anyone wants to draft a response there, then feel free. But I figure this can also be a good a great source of inspiration, like I said, and discussion topics. So yeah, if anyone wants to comment on any of these, or Sebastian, if perhaps you want to share any more details about these or share any of your thinking, then you're very welcome to. Or if anybody else wants to share any thoughts in general about the respect game, about Eden Fractal, about my idea with the Cagendas. Also want to welcome Flavia too. We welcomed you in the beginning of the Eden Fractal respect game, but I think it's your first time joining us here at Eden Fractal. I'm not totally sure. I see you putting it to heart, but really hope you enjoyed the respect game. And if you want to share any feedback on your experiences or introduce yourself to the Eden Town Hall audience, then you'd be very welcome to do. I see you're giving a thumbs up, so feel free to unmute if you'd like to share anything. And hopefully you enjoy the Eden Town Hall event as well. And also welcome time as well. Thanks for joining. Hopefully you had a great time in your breakout room too. It's always great to see you, and would be curious to hear from you too. So yeah, if anybody has any comments, then feel free. Thanks for the hard time. feel free to jump in. And we have the next 45 minutes booked to have a discussion about all of these topics or any thoughts about Eden Fractal, fractal governance, respect games, and so forth. So floor is open. Would any of you like to jump in and share any thoughts? You can feel free to either unmute or raise your hand or share a comment in the chat if you'd like. And then I see Rosemary said that in your breakout room, Flavia shared a recent article she wrote in case anybody wants to explore. Should I pull this up? It looks pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for sharing, Rosemary. I hope you don't mind, Flavia. I assume you'll like it. I see you gave a heart here. So, does that sound good, Flavia?
Yeah. Thanks so much for the welcoming. It was really nice to get to know the respect game and what you're doing. So yeah, thanks for yeah, thanks for the welcoming. So yeah, I was just in the breakout room. I was just sharing what I've done and what I've been doing. So this is a research project I recently wrote, and I'm exploring how we can use persuasive technologies in AI for task recommendation and matchmaking. So pretty much trying to build a platform in which people can coordinate tasks based on intrinsic motivations, and how can we help use information technology to combine like what you need with resources and all those stuffs. So, and I was sure that it's a kind of big task. And after I wrote all of that, I realized, yeah, people introduced me to vibe coding, and that's what I kind of been doing, like trying to build all of these ideas into a product. Yeah.
Fascinating. All right. I see Rosemary's putting up several hearts here, and it seems like there's a lot of love
Yeah.
in the room. Yeah,
It's an understatement that labeling and task creation is hard. I think over the few years, we kind of said that we are not going to be able to make sense all of this tagging that people are emergently doing. So it's quite amazing to see that you put some work here to organize different labels a task can have. Is this color coding related to categorizing, or have you like thought of like skills and like here I see this like intrinsic needs tagging, which I never really labeled. Like okay, good question. How did you come up with all of this labeling? Is this something that you see out there that tasks are labeled, or you like is it something that you were using, or this is more like assuming what the task can be and just using your own knowledge or your own experience?
Yes. You talk about this mind map of tasks and things. This was just something I I kind of created. And the idea was to create a tag systems around regenerative actions and things that nurture life, basically. But it was just an imagery of possibilities. It's not something concrete yet. And actually, I because my first thought was, yeah, it's easier for matchmaking if you have a tag system. So it's easy like to combine interests, skills, and needs on all of that. But I'm considering also using large language models for that. I'm not really I'm not really sure how this is gonna go, but this is kind of mostly me and ideas I've had like throughout it a couple of years now that I've been thinking about this stuff. So yeah, I don't know if I really am answering your questions, but I'm totally open to keep talking about it if you're interested and collaborating, of course.
Thanks, Flavia, and thanks, Tevo, for the questions too. I suppose one question I'd have, because I'm still just like absorbing it for the first time, so I'm making sense of it as I go, and I'll look into it in more detail. Beautiful, beautiful imagery, by the way. I'm curious, Flavia, if you don't mind sharing, one. Well, I suppose I have a few questions. I don't want to overload you with too many questions, but a few questions I have in mind, and feel free to pick whichever ones you're most interested in. I'm curious, how you heard about Eden Fractal if this research you see synergies between this research and what we're doing here at Eden Fractal with the respect games and fractal decision making and so forth, and also what you thought of your first respect game, which I think is your first respect game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out where I found it. So I am part of the crypto community, mostly most interested in regen and refi and stuff. And I think I saw it on a Telegram group that shares events, crypto events, and I saw the Luma event website, and I thought, oh, this is super interesting. So I am interested in collective intelligence, decision making, and I thought right away that a lot of synergies. So I was curious to check it out, especially the game, because I'm interested in playfulness and simplify things. So yeah, I was just curious to check it out, how it went. And I thought it was really cool. So Rosemary did a really nice mediation, and I got to play the game. There was a bit of, for me, like a bit of discomfort in ranking. Like there's the one that loses. So and I think of everybody. Of course, I know that everybody gets respect for participating, and this is nice. But yeah, but it was good to get people talking about what they're doing and what they've done, and yeah, it was a nice experience and a nice use of crypto and on-chain storage, I guess.
Sounds great. Well, thanks for the feedback. I'm glad you liked it and had fun at the event. Oh, it's nice to see you too.
Yeah, I always forget to show my face. Yeah. Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, very much. And yeah, thanks Rosemary for facilitating that as well. And then yeah, also we love regen groups too, and collective intelligence too. So we're happy that you found us here, and maybe also shout out to Rosemary. She's been sharing the word in a lot of different groups, so maybe that's where you found it. And yeah, regarding the part about losing or everybody winning and so forth, and like how it can sometimes be uncomfortable. Hopefully it won't make you feel uncomfortable going forward, and you'll be inspired to join more and play more respect games. I think a lot of it comes down to like kind of like the social understanding and just how you act about it, basically, and how the community acts about it. Because like you said, everybody earns respect, and in my eyes, everybody's winning because everybody's earning respect, and everybody's helping each other, and then because we play it on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, then like if somebody gets less respect in one week, then provides some more incentive to do more, but then like it can level out. So generally it requires some education and some care, like to do it well. But I think that overall, hopefully it'll be a very comfortable experience for you and for others as well. And if you wanted to share any more, I'm not sure if you answered about how you see that it might synergize with your work, and like that you've done in general on here, then feel free. Also, too, I don't want to put you on the spot, so I know you've already shared a lot with us too. So, and I'm sure other people have some thoughts too that they might be interested to share. So, no need to go into too much detail, but it seems like there's so much thoughtful research here, as Tevo was saying too. There's a lot of yeah, it seems like there's so much here, and would be curious if you did want to share anything more about this project in general, or and in particular, any synergies that you might see with fractal governance and respect games and your work here, or if there's anything else you want to share, then feel free to do so. And if anybody else has any other thoughts, either on the research that Flavia has been doing here, or there are other topics as well, then we can move on to another topic whenever we're ready to. But I see Tevo raise his hand. Tevo, do you want to share anything more about Flavia's work, or if you wanted to respond to what I shared, Flavia, first, then feel free, because I know I shared a lot there too. So if it's simpler for you to respond now, then feel free.
In the bottom, I see the page to research and publication. I didn't go too much detail into it, but because it is a research, and I'm wondering, like, where are you going around to ask these grant funds, and or if you are tied to any particular network where you are doing these kinds of developments, because in Cardano Project Catalyst is opening up where this kinds of funding and that like amount is small enough to be like research funding or something. They're proposing similar things anyway, and so here you already have experience there. and it's like widening a network. Would be interesting to see your proposal there. And I can also connect you with people who have written proposals, including me, or who have worked with regenerative stuff. I know networks who are doing climate change and like regenerative, like this agriculture things, and connect with them. And yeah, I know, like it depends who is that like an idea that could be funded or something else, or if you want to lead it, and then I can help you.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's amazing. I would love to. I think I'm in this moment that I kind of should reach and be part of community. I think that's why I'm here. Also, like need to know people that are working on similar topics and experiment. And I haven't started any crowdfunding or fundraising yet. I just wrote the article and somehow organize the ideas. And actually, I'm kind of understanding because I've been vibe coding and trying to actually create and test the hypotheses and the thing that I want to experiment. And yeah, maybe yeah, maybe I can do it in a different way than what's presented here. Yeah, I'm just figuring out as I'm going. So and as people as I'm connecting to people as well. So yeah, yeah, it would be nice. There in the end of the article, there's my Telegram and another medium. So if people interest have questions, please reach out to me. And if people have interest in participating and supporting, also it would be really really nice. Yeah, I think I dodged the question a little bit as well. I don't know. Um,
Well, you did answer
yeah.
the question. One wondering, anybody using Discord here, or I'm like the old one? 'Cause
What was the question, Tevo? Is anybody using Discord here?
yes,
Oh,
because I see like Telegram everywhere now.
we do use Discord for Optimism Fractal. We have a Discord, and that's the main place that we coordinate for Optimism Fractal. So yeah, you're welcome to join that group. We'll get you the link if you want to get involved with the Optimism Fractal community. And then I think most people here probably use Discord. I saw Sebastian was unmuting too. I don't know if Sebastian, you want to jump in? Thanks. Go ahead,
Uh,
I'm forced to use it from time to time, but I don't really like it.
Okay. Well, yeah, sounds good. Well, and by the way, there was some interesting comments in the chat too, and looks like I'm not sure if you saw Flavia, but Will was saying that he signed up, and there's some Telegram contact there, and Rosemary shared the Eden Fractal or the Optimism Fractal Discord too. Yeah, I invite you to join, and hope to see you there. Or exactly the opposite. I don't know exactly what you mean, but anyway, feel free. I don't know if Flavia has anything else you want to say. Feel free, but otherwise we'll pass it to Sebastian. And if you want to comment on this, Sebastian, we can. Or if you also want to move in, I want to make sure we have time for if you want to get into your chats over here too. We'd love to speak with these two. But yeah, Sebastian, what would you like to share?
yeah, I didn't knew that you had a Discord, so I will join that.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for joining. That's where we do most of our discussions for Optimism Fractal.
Great.
So, and for who's not familiar to Optimism Fractal, I think probably most people here are familiar, but maybe you're not. Optimism Fractal Optimism, that's the event that we host. We're the Optimistics team event hosts on Thursdays, alternating with Eden Fractal, where we play the respect game and we practice fractal governance, where people go into these breakout groups and earn respect, which helps them make better decisions together. And we do this on the Optimism Superchain. Everybody's welcome to join these events as well as on the Discord and get involved with the community. We'd love to see you there too. Sebastian, do you want to share anything?
I don't know. We can go about my comments if you like.
Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe first, before we move on, I'll just ask, I'll see if Flavia, if there's anything else you want to say, Flavia, then feel free to jump in so we can wrap up your topic. But otherwise, thanks so much, Flavia, for sharing all that all that you've been doing. And I'm looking forward to the research and really appreciate you joining us here and being and sharing all this cool stuff with us. We have a lot to learn and explore. And I hope that your further research project goes well and that you can gain more resources to continue it. And I look forward to seeing what you build. So yeah, I hope that you'll join us back in the future and share your contributions, and look forward to supporting however we can, and seeing you as you progress. And hopefully there'll be lots of opportunities for collaborations along the way too. All right. It looks like Flavia is still unmuted, so we're still muted. So, yeah, like I said, feel free to jump in at some point. She says, "Thanks so much, guys, for the welcoming and attention. I'll come back." Okay, sounds great. Well, looking forward to seeing you. And yeah, please do share the updates with us too. And feel free if there's anything we would help to share in our Telegram group or our Discord group as well. All right. And now I think we're ready to move to the topics that Sebastian brought up. So thanks for your patience, Sebastian. And thanks once again for making these very, very interesting posts, as well as following Eden Fractal and thinking about it, I suppose, over the past couple of years since we were last collaborating on Eden Fractal. So is there any one in particular post you want to focus on more, or
I mean,
with, or
maybe the last one.
okay.
I think like the one that was about where I was asking myself if there's a mechanism by which someone can be asked to leave a fractal, because misunderstandings can be very powerful, in my opinion. And as we meet on a regular basis, but only online, there can be like, I don't know, it's a different experience if you meet in person and do what we are doing, you know, like from home, so to say. So I would say maybe, I don't know, it's kind of a challenge for us in the way we communicate, because we only know each other through camera, by camera, and by these calls and so on. And I don't know if from my personal experience, it's if you have a problem, or if there are like drama, any kind of drama happening or something like that, that can be countered by by just talking to each other in a way that is more real, so to say, that feels more real. So my point is, like, if there is a bad vibe, for example, and the synergy is not perfect because of, I don't know, personal feelings, it's kind of hard to get around that online, you know? Like there's like this communication problem many people have when trying to solve personal issues just by media, or just by having a call, so to say. So yeah, I kind of feel like the intent of the group is very close connected to what we have as as level we meet on. So I don't know how to solve that problem, but I don't know. I know many people who really like the ideas of fractal systems and the concepts and so on. But I'm talking to these people in person. So it feels like it's way easier to explain these kind of topics or the issues and what exactly fractal governance is made for, because it's human interaction, but we only do it online. So I think that can lead to something that kind of hinders people to be honest in a way, maybe. And yeah, so there was like just on that point, on that message. Yeah, I just had that thought. I don't know. So yeah, because when you read my the other comments that I wrote, they are also kind of about like how history is kind of often repeating itself, and there are these communications problems don't occur, I think, when you exactly know who you are dealing with. So yeah, it's kind of so I'm trying to think about how to move the respect game mechanism into the real world, so to say, and have like real human interaction. Because I think only by home office you can work in a small team, and it works fine. But I think at a certain level and a certain amount of people that are involved, it can get to the point where one person or just maybe two persons who have a conflict can destroy like the whole vibe of the town hall, so to say. So just to minimize this kind of human behavior that is just normal, I guess. But as we are globally and communicating over the internet, I think there can be risks, and if the meetings would be more personal, so to say, it would attract more people to join, because you have this feeling of familiarity. So kind of building a familiar ground to work on. And yeah, I'm kind of having a monologue right now, but I hope it's okay. So
if you want to share anything else, then feel free. I appreciate your monologue, and it's very interesting to hear your thoughts, and really appreciate you thinking deeply about these, and you're bringing up important questions and important issues. So I'm happy to respond to some of them now. If you'd like to hear my perspective, of course, anybody else wants to share, then feel free to jump in. But I see Sebastian giving me the nod, so I suppose maybe I'll share some of my thoughts here, and then if Sebastian, you want to if you want to respond along the way or jump in, then feel free. And same for everybody.
Sure.
I'm curious what everybody thinks about this. So, well, maybe first I'll mention it because I see Tevo raise his hand too. So, Tevo, if you want to jump in, then feel free. Maybe first I'll just briefly respond by saying, one, these are absolutely things that we need to learn about and learn from as we grow and prepare for as we grow, because we're currently in a small community, and Rosemary said she thinks it's a very important topic too. But fractal governance and respect games, the idea, the vision of Eden Fractal and the mission is to implement these processes throughout society, and that all communities around the world and organizations should have the tools and methods to make the best possible decision making. So how do we scale this to everybody and do it not just online, but also in person too? We're working on, we'd love to have it where it's really easy to play respect games in person, and doing the technical development for that, and having the educational resources so that any community can implement these equally and start playing and enjoy it. And inevitably, people are people, and people have some disputes that arise. So yeah, maybe I'll just respond for another couple minutes, and I'll pass it to you, Tevo, if that's good with you, because I'm on a little bit of a roll here, and I just have some thoughts that I want to share, but I'm very curious to hear your thoughts too. So yeah, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done as far as the educational resources and the kind of the cultural understanding and the way that people understand the respect, and kind of learn a new habit and learn a new ritual and learn the best way to both play technically but also play it socially, and to get along. I think that people in general have a lot of learning and a lot of things we can do to become better at cooperating in general, and so I think that's another key component, as well as the technical of playing the respect game, actually learning these things to better cooperate together. And then we need systems for more sophisticated technical systems as well. So I think in this question you mentioned, or in that you're asking yourself if there's a mechanism by which somebody can be asked to leave a fractal if it is bad vibes, not going well. So one thing that I'll say is, right now our systems, we don't really have, so we kind of have mechanisms. I mean, for one thing, most basic sort of mechanism, if you want to call it, is just asking somebody to leave, or kind of just trying to, also before that, just trying to be cool and to just be amiable at it and be like, hey, that's not really cool that you're acting like that or whatever. We haven't really had that issue much in general, because mostly people have been really cool and kind and wanting to contribute positively. But if or when that happens, then that usually works pretty well if it's just handled carefully. Um, and I was going to share a link or something, but I don't remember what I was going to share. And there's also other mechanisms too. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to share. I was going to share the Eden.fraps XYZ, because technically with this application that DOS built, we could even pass a proposal to say, hey, that person shouldn't have their respect, or this person can't join the event or something like that. So we have consensus processes. If we wanted to really, if it was a really bad situation, or the community just wanted to voice an opinion, like, hey, we want to set up a code of conduct, and we want to make it so that it's not allowed to interrupt people while they're talking, or it's not allowed to, I don't know, be vulgar, or whatever the kind of rules are. The ORDAO consensus process could potentially do that, or we could set up a legislative consensus process like the Optimism Fractal Council, in which case we could make a proposal on Snapshot, like we do for this, where we could say, hey, these are the rules or whatever. And then some other quick thoughts I'll throw in here too, in the mix, just for thinking. So I think next step, in addition to these things, that one of the things that we're thinking of doing is implementing a community agreement. We've talked about this a lot, where people have to sign an agreement in order to participate in the community, and they agree to some common rules, such as a code of conduct. I have some kind of draft articles that I started writing about code of conduct, and also dispute resolution processes. So I don't know if I should share them here actually, because they're not totally ready. But there is, for example, an article that Dan Larimer had written about dispute resolution processes, and there's a lot of code of conducts that, for example, Tevo might have knowledge about it. But one of the links I was shared in the Eden group in the past was a Cardano Cardano's code of conduct, which is like at cardano.org/code of conduct or something like that. There's also some other like very popular ones that have been kind of like forked and stuff. So like these are things that we can look into. This kind of dispute resolution process from Dan Larimer, it's very interesting. This kind of community code of conduct, we could have something like that. And the last thing I'll share too is with the idea of having an agreement, one of the ideas that we'll have with the agreement is that when people sign the agreement, they'll get a hat from Hat's protocol, which is a protocol for setting up organizational roles. So for example, we could token gate like participation in events to if people have a certain NFT, which would be this hat basically. So the community could decide via something like OrDAO, these people have the hat if they are upstanding community members and being cool and stuff like that, and then they can join the events. But like over time, basically the community can form more advanced and sophisticated mechanisms to basically be able to govern itself more effectively, which will become necessary as the communities grow, and also make it help people navigate these. Like for example, this dispute resolution article, I just glanced over it, but like this is like a really thoughtful practice that Dan Larimer was thinking a lot, and he inspired a lot of stuff here. So we're not like right now we're kind of taking it like one day at a time and navigating as best as we can with the current tools. But I think pretty soon we can start implementing Hath protocol and exploring these other processes when the need arises.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. If there's anything that you want to share, feel free. Also, Tevo's had his hand up for a while, so thanks for the patience. And also, I see some chat messages. Maybe I'll read them out. Will said it's the quintessential epitome of what we build here to have applications outside this environment. I agree. And Rosemary said that, and we vote using our respect scores collected from the respect games we played. That's right. So we'll have this democratic and meritocratic way of, or each community will have its own meritocratic and democratic way of making decisions about what the rules should be and how to enforce them. And Will had written that earning governance influence based on merit is amazing. So yeah, I think that's a big key of it, that we have the foundations, the democratic foundations that enable communities to navigate these changes and all the difficult situations that will certainly come up in the future. But providing people with the tools and the foundations, and then I suppose all communities can learn from these resources and figure out what works best and inform other communities. So thanks all for the great comments in the chat. Thanks, Sebastian, for inspiring this. And yeah, feel free, Sebastian, if you want to jump in. But I think now's probably a good time to pass it to Tevo. Curious to hear what you think.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to load it. I like it. That blog or like the Telegram message, there was a lot of different things like boiling down to governance. And that made me think of now through the years, like incubating communities and like being in different, like ways where emergently governance is happening. One thing example from the swarm is very similar to what you mentioned, like when you have a meaning or like some higher goal that people come together, and in our case it was Project Catalyst, which was like how to achieve the highest collaboration or human collaboration. And then we didn't even know how to kind of connect with us or coordinate. And then in chat, we are like, okay, what do we do? Oh, we could use Zoom, we could use Google Meet, Discord. And then it took like weeks and like to even start to kind of gather and create this routine. And then you learn, because none of us were entrepreneurs, none of us had like experience doing decentralized work. And this is, I think, what gonna happen often. And like, it's still going to happen for years to come, because if we look at the like a fractal timeline, then we are very, very beginning. Like most of the world doesn't even know what the blockchain is good for. And now we're even talking about decentralized working, and you don't have to have a job. You can just join a network of people who like to do same thing, and you can make off living. And like these are concepts that are sound made for some, this is like a fairy tale. And yeah, now being in this kind of very niche area, like everything we do is a lot of high energy activity. At least for to me, it seems like when we gather, we put a lot of us and energy into it, but we don't get a lot of outcomes, because the outcomes happen probably 3 or 6 or 1 year later. Because these things, what we are discussing, are like cultivation. And yeah, what made us kind of lose. And one thing about this, like especially I think it's interesting that it hasn't happened here, and it's been like it's only around the third year without rewards or like sustainability. The activities and the people, they don't go away. They take the learnings, but they establish a new environment usually, or like or are going to put more energy on a different, not a silo, but like a different group that is maybe also striving the same thing maybe Eden is doing, but just that different people. Like few people are different, maybe some tools are different. It's like another maybe agenda, and perhaps something is also incentivizing them. And so this way you kind of relive your vision or your mission with a different set of people and or network and environment. But it's always, to me, I see it as a progress, but it's hard to see that progress because I didn't know that 2 years ago. It's only when you reflect back, okay, what happened 2 years ago? How did we start? Oh, wow, we actually made so much like achievements. And then when you compile it up with all the members, it's like, yeah, you then start to kind of see the outcomes and what are these patterns we're building in the tool. And another thing is like, we don't have the fucking tools. Like every time we go to the meeting, like we have all the modules, how we can pull the tools, but stitching them together and making that specific thing that we need or that group needs or that community needs is feels like never is there. And then it's a very huge discussion about priorities. And that I think where most of the energy is going, what to focus on, what's the next agenda, and like living 1 week or 1 month at a time. And that's like also a learning curve for a new person. And again, another thing, like having a new person is also like another capacity, that energy that goes into leveling up that new person to understanding level, and then moving on. And yeah, regarding the code of conduct, for me, I've usually been like very like, if when it comes up, then we deal with it. And so far it has kind of worked out. But there is, of course, several times that we have kicked out people in from networks, and or we create like a code of conduct, and then. But I think that's most important thing is just to have one document where you can point at if something happens, because this is always comes up. But you need like a point of reference, either a blog or article or a specific document that people can follow if they have this feel that somebody is abusing the system. Yeah, I know. Like hard to kind of wrap it all up, but this was I kind of tried to speak what that invoked from me.
Makes total sense. Yeah.
I just accidentally asked you to unmute when I was trying to unmute myself, Tevo. Thanks for all the great thoughts and perspective. As Rosemary wrote that it's like Tevo's been here since day one. Really appreciate you sharing your perspective on here at Eden Fractal and the various governance systems and communities that you've been involved with. And for very insightful conversation overall. We have like 7 more minutes scheduled, so I think it's good to be punctual and start wrapping up pretty soon. Curious, Sebastian, if you wanted to follow up with anything that Tevo or I said, or perhaps Rosemary or Will or Flavia would like to add anything else before we wrap up. We can also, if anybody has any other quick topics, we could address them briefly too. I see Sebastian's unmuted, so I'll pass it back to Sebastian.
No, no, that basically answers my question. I just think it's a very important topic because from my perspective, I would like to maybe start a fractal in German again, or I never did one, but maybe a German fractal and or German-speaking fractal. And I was watching an old episode back from the Eden Project, where Dan Larimer also gave some thought to that, and he basically said in the recording that fractals can if one fractal is connected to another fractal, that is a win-win just in itself, because as the fractal progresses, there is interaction, and this interaction means that even if both fractals follow different goals, the underlying mechanism in which we communicate and make decisions is the same, and that kind of leads to a fractal structure. So it's kind of self-explanatory, but yeah, thanks for the answer.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Sebastian, and thanks for sharing all your thoughts and insight, as well as your interest in starting about German Fractal. It sounds amazing and be much appreciated. I know Jorge started a Spanish-speaking Fractal, and I know Charles, I think, was starting up. Maybe Pascal was starting up a French Fractal, but I don't know if there's ever been a German Fractal before. Rosie says, "Wow, very smart, very Fractal." I agree, and yeah, feel free to reach out and. We always appreciate you sharing your thoughts here on Eden Fractal or Eden Town Hall, as well as in the chat. So feel free to keep sharing all the good stuff, even if I haven't responded yet. I always love reading it, and it inspires me to write notes. And also, this is a great forum where we can really get into deep discussions about it too. So perhaps in future town halls, we can also get more into detail about a lot of the other stuff you said here, because we kind of like scratch the surface of it, some of it, and we got deeper into some different aspects, but there's a lot of different questions you asked that we could go into detail of. And if you have any questions as well about like implementing it or want support and stuff like that, we're here to help. That's what the Eden Fractal community is here to do, it's here to help all the different fractal communities basically, and help people implement these kinds of fractal processes. So yeah, what you said and what Dan Larimer said is very true, that like it's kind of like rising tide lifts all boats. We all are working on the same process together. If anybody's not familiar with Dan Larimer's work, fractally.com is where you can, this is an initiative that Dan Larimer and his team started that inspired the Respect game. There's a white paper for the framework of next generation DAOs, as well as the More Equal Animals, the Subtle Art of True Democracy, a book which explains fractal democracy and the reasons for it in society and so forth. So highly encourage you to check it out, as well as we have an article at edenfractal.com/blog about the upvote elections too. There's a lot of other resources too that I've curated, but this is one place where you can find the original Eden community, the Eden Genesis Eden or Eden on EOS community that started before fractals started officially, before we started using the word fractal, where we had done these elections. So lots of wisdom in these videos. And actually, if anybody's really interested in going into any of these old resources, I have an article at edencreators.com/DAMS, short for Decentralized Autonomous Media Studios, where I have a bunch of videos from the old elections and a bunch of great talks where Dan Larimer shared a bunch of inspiring thoughts. So yeah, I really appreciate you, Sebastian, diving into those old recordings. There's a lot of gems there, and Dan Larimer, he shared a lot of great stuff. So yeah, I look forward to hearing your progress and your thinking about fractal democracy, as well as your progress about potentially starting up a German-speaking fractal. That sounds amazing. So yeah, please keep us updated. Feel free to reach out.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Maybe related a little bit on starting up the French fractal. Is there a document or some kind of bootstrap article? How would one provide or like that fractal as a service, like that governance? Because when in the master program in SingularityNet, what we do there is we reward people for almost any activity that is contribution to the network. And the way we recognize the core contributors or the decision makers are somewhat similar, that those who create value, they have the say. And we have like limits how much you need to reach in order to get to the like core contributors. And like majority of the people are becoming the decision makers. However, what we don't do is like this, what George is always mentioning, like over time, figuring out like the tools who are doing less kind of work, but people are highly regarding their work. Because in these discussions, you're like comparing and you're sharing this, where through like treasury system and just doing the work, it only gets into their like the video created is only seen by the person or the team who is like responsible for video creation, and maybe the rest of the network doesn't really see it, and it's this the value is decided in that meeting. But here what I see is here like it's like cross, like everybody learns what that specific person is doing, not just some random like task on a spreadsheet somewhere. So somebody's calling me and it's bothering me. Sorry about that. I'll come back to that.
No problem. Well, yeah, thanks, Tevo, also for sharing these thoughts too. So, I agree with all your points there. I see Rosemary wrote great question, and yeah. So one thing I'll just highlight. I think that one of the really great things about fractals is that value recognition. That's something I was talking with Das recently. That it's a way to recognize and understand the value of other community members much better than like a spreadsheet or something like that you mentioned. And then I think you previously asked, is there like a document that shows how to start a fractal or something along those lines? Like kind of like make it easy for people to do. And right now you said there was a hidden question in there. Is there a service doc or bootstrap doc that goes over minimum or rather over minimal service? Not really, I don't think. I mean, there's kind of just like a lot of documentation and a lot of resources, but we're working to create like applications that make it easier for people to play and then educational resources with that. But right now it's kind of like you kind of have to like there's not that many fractals currently operating right now because it's a very like kind of manually intensive process where we're building the software as we go, and we're directly collaborating with developers like Cagendas and so forth because it's not like that easy to start one. I mean, some people just go off and do it. Like for example, Zal, he joined Optimism Fractal 2 years ago almost now, and then he just decided to start Zal Fractal, and he just did it, and now he's got like a thriving community joining the Zal Fractal events for over a year. So, um, and people have tutorials like on how to use the apps, and the apps are open source. So like
Yeah, I think
use
one
them.
thing is like, do you even need an app? Like that's a one first question. Like in that service, is there a way that somebody just needs to know the practice, how to
Mhm.
distribute that? What are the questions people ask? And like this way we can like make, yeah, no, that's another question. Does this Eden Fractal want to experiment or try out what it what it will take, or like what energy it costs for somebody to facilitate in another network a fractal session? Also describe what it's used, making it continuous, trying to train people to make training material about Eden Fractal, and kind of mentoring them to take the lead of facilitating these kinds of sessions. Because yeah, I did. I'm my whole year because George joined us, started talking about it. It started making sense. We played it, and now I'm like, but I want to kind of see that if it's possible that it's like a service that this organization or this network can provide to others, and if there is a cost to it. And then you already put kind of sustainability into it. And of course, there is a question if there is a interest or love to do that. Then I'm wondering, how do you are driving this vision or vision if you're not willing to do a service to other? And like, but it's still possible, because what I also notice here in the messages, I haven't gone to Notion, as I already kind of learned that today, that you are also training self-organization, and which is also one of my things. Like I try to do as little as possible to other people and give them the tools to reward themselves, basically, or use the mechanisms that others have built, or environments that have built to do this. So it could be the same thing, that you never go into and teach people how to do Eden fractal sessions or set up these um, like feedback loops, but instead, yeah, give them the course or something.
Great points. I see Rosemary said she's going to go speak soon. Thank you all. Thank you, Rosemary. And also Flavia had said, gotta bounce too. Lovely meeting you all. Thanks for the support and amazing resources. And Will had said he has to go and he's prepping for some exciting stuff. So to us, there were a bunch of people who had to leave. But shout out to everybody who was here and thanks all. And we probably should try to wrap it up within the next few minutes. Maybe we'll give it 5 more minutes, and then we can always discuss these in more detail in the next town hall as well as in the chats. But yeah, really appreciate all the enthusiasm and excitement and great questions and so forth. I saw Sebastian, you were unmuted for a little while there. If you want to jump in before me and respond to what Tevo said or anything, then feel free to do so. And I can go afterwards.
No, I just wanted to tell a little story because back when EOS launched, we had a German community, like with Telos Germany and so on. And we also met in person, like, I don't know, like twice a year maybe. So it was like a very connected circle. And all we did was promoting EOS in German. So we built a website and so on, and explained how the software is working and how to use it and so on. And that was kind of our voluntary goal. And it was not even close to be that professional as like the Optimism Fractal is organized by now, and like the software and so on, and the tooling. So I think like just for the first steps, just using the software and like the resources that are available now, they just have to be applied in the real world. And on a small level, and it will work out. I mean, for me, it's not the question if it's going to be something real big or like something that catches like a big wave, but it's more like giving it another shot, so to say. And I like the approach that the Eden Fractal has taken. So it really speeds up decision making, and I think that's a great setting point. Just to put it in contrast from what I experienced back then when EOS launched. So I think that there's big potential in these kind of things.
The reason I see potential here is because it's a different style of recognizing people, and you need different layers. At least once you kind of master one, you're like, God damn it, it's not fair enough, because people are still making like not cabals, but like it's just people who are similar or similar networks or in similar skills. They tend to kind of agree with each other, and then they create this like a strong network. Here it kind of forces them to be more distributed because they need to attend to other people they may not network with. But there is this hard kind of that you need to come to that sync. One question: have you ever tried asynchronous respect? Meaning that session happens, everybody kind of puts like a text up somewhere or like a summary, and then people have 1 week to respond to it.
I get the concept, yeah.
But nobody has tried it, or
yeah. So there's been a bunch of great inspiration questions here at the end. So I'll try to just maybe briefly respond to the questions and points. So one, thanks Sebastian and Tevo both for sharing all the thoughts and stories and your interest and enthusiasm for fractals, much appreciated. To address your last question, Tevo, there has been people who have experimented with asynchronous games. We've done it in the Optimistics team a little bit, just between members of the team for a little while, and then also a community member or a couple of community members, Vlad and Linara, they had built this Respect.Games website. Maybe Jorge had shared it to you.
But what has it been great experience? Or is just different and it's hard to tell?
It's currently there's a bug in the app, and Vlad hasn't received funding to fix the bug totally. So it hasn't been a great experience partially for that. But it's also been a great experience in some games. Like some games are nice, but generally the way that's worked the best has been these live events so far. But I see a lot of potential in both, but it hasn't like really taken off right now, partially because it just requires different software, and the software has been under development and so forth. But I, I think there's a strong future for it. And then maybe to address some of the other questions, I did get going soon. I'd love to talk more, but I'd love to also maybe wrap it up in the next few minutes too. But I want to just briefly respond to some of the things. So one question that you asked Tevo was about like where like you're asking what is the best resource or what are the best resources, and the thing I was going to pull up before was just like I guess there's a lot of resources, and one of the ideas is that Eden Fractal is going to give respect to anybody who tries to implement anybody who tries to implement fractal democracy or respect games or supports the community anyway, including going to different community and helping them implement it or learning about it. Like that's one of the things that Eden Fractal is here for, to give respect and to provide that place for networking and learning for people to learn about it. So from that perspective, like Eden Fractal will just support anybody who who attempts to implement fractal democracy or succeeds in implementing fractal democracy, and you'll get more respect and more governance power in the Eden Fractal community by doing so if you join your report on that at the Eden Fractal events. So, and then, we'll see where that goes and what that respect enables in the future. But basically, Eden Fractal is here to award that. And then the other thing I was going to share is that, whoops, I meant to share this respect game article. There's a respect game article on the Optimistic site that I bring up often. There's more to it, and this article does need to be updated, but there is how to play. So you can use this as a resource to show other people how to play if you want to play with a group. And it shows how you pick a group prompt first, then you have the game rules and instructions. And then there's also for example, there's a little section here about getting started, and you can either join events like the events that we host or play with your community. And it has some very simple instructions here, as well as more resources for fractal democracy and diving deeper where you can learn and the apps and stuff. So right now, that's some of the best ways that I'd be able to refer people to. Both give a thumbs up. Thanks for that. And over time, we want to make much more comprehensive resources. I thought a lot of that starting.
Yeah, I think here is more I'm actually looking less information, but this is a very good start because that is covering all the stuff that is needed. But I see a lot of lines there that the first person who is getting to know this doesn't have to know some of that information. And it's specific to this. So it's not like a template for anybody to pick up, rather than specific to this network and these tools. But it's already better, yeah. Okay.
It is intended to be a template, talking about how first you pick some sort of prompt and you can use it before every your game. But I totally agree. Right now, it's kind of hidden in this article, and it needs to be conveyed in a better way. Eventually, we want to have videos that walk people through and tutorials and stuff like that. Your other question was, do you need an app? You don't really need an app because you can do this all asynchronous, or you can just do it all in person, not on chain. But doing it on chain helps because then you get the benefits of on chain respect. And that does require, a technical development as well. And then, one of the goals too is also to foster an ecosystem where people can build businesses around fractals too. So, and I'm working a lot on different elements of how the fractal ecosystem can be funded. So I'll share more details about that when I have it available. But working on a variety of different structures and plans to help provide those kinds of funding mechanisms, as well as I suppose coordination mechanisms that can help to create those resources. Because right now, as you said, it's mostly been a volunteer effort from a small community, but working on scaling it up so that we can create amazing educational resources and amazing applications, make it super simple, because that's definitely the goal. We have the world in here, and as I mentioned, like on the Eden Fractal website, the goal is to share it with everybody in the world. And to do that, we need to do all these things. We need to do what, Sebastian was bringing up beforehand about figuring out how to navigate conflict and become more sophisticated in our governance process. And we also need to figure out how to make it easier for people to play the respect game or practice fractal governance. And so that's what Eden Fractal is here to support it to the best of the ability that I can right now. And then over time, we hope that it will inspire different community members to contribute in their own way and to see, oh, that thing is missing here, and that's something I can do to help out and help my community, while at the same time it also helps all these other fractal communities too. And that's what I'm doing, and that's what several other community members are doing, and that's also what Eden Fractal is here to help bring people together who want to do that and who want to be recognized for that. So, and I appreciate all the questions. Hope that you'll be inspired to keep asking all the questions going forward, and also contributing however you see fit in some ways that help you achieve your goals too. I would love to see you implement the respect game or play around with it in your communities.
Yeah, I need to get to talk with George and see if he's joining around another voting call. Yeah, maybe one of you also will join up there and then bring up that one summer week. Perhaps we could push for a fractal pattern or even a course. And that will then solidify like a bit of what you have shared there in a more templatey way for any network to pick up and just play. Like if they'll play like, how should we reward our today's work group? And then we're like, okay, there are 5 patterns. Let's choose this fractal one.
Well, that's where we're going, Tevo, and I'm excited for the journey. And I think that maybe 6 months from now, or I don't know, some amount of time, a year from now, I think we'll be in a much better position there. Right now, we have a lot of education resources. Encourage you to check it out, as well as feel free to reach out with any questions, and your comments and thoughts are always welcome here at the town halls and the fractals. And then for anybody who's watching, contributions are welcome, and we have respect to give out for people who are contributing, and looking forward to collaborating with everybody to making these things a reality, so that we can bring these fractal decision-making processes to everybody and help all communities, organizations make the best decisions possible and better allocate resources and so forth. I think here would probably be a good time to wrap it up. If Tevo or Sebastian, you had any quick last thoughts you want to share, then feel free. But otherwise, I'm ready to wrap it up when you guys are. And we usually wrap it up by saying 3, 2, 1, go Eden Fractal. So if you guys want to join me for that, then that'd be great. But yeah, do you guys have any last final thoughts, or are we ready to wrap it up? It seems like you're both muted. I'll give it a moment.
I think we can wrap it up. Here, yeah, I mean, just also on the language base, I think it's important to just have it in different languages, maybe, and have it explained in a really easy way, like for younger people, maybe even. So yeah, I mean, you can play these games also as education in school systems, in my opinion. Because that kind of forces students to interact on a diplomatic way, and if you can teach these skills early on, that might be very powerful as well.
I agree.
Just some thought on that.
Yeah, great points. I'd love to see respect games in schools. So we'll have to add some colors and stuff like that, and help teachers facilitate. And then also any translations in German or any other languages are much appreciated too. And and making it simpler and easier for people to understand. That's all excellent and amazing too. So yeah, we're fully aligned there. All right. So I think we're probably ready to wrap it up then. Thanks so much, Sebastian and Tevo, for all the great discussions. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to hearing from both you guys in the coming days and coming weeks. Like I said, feel free to reach out with questions and thoughts. Love to hear. Keep it coming. And hope to see you guys at the upcoming Eden Fractal events, as well as you're welcome to join the Optimism Fractal events as you want to. Tevo's putting out the party. Gotta go. Now just me and Sebastian. And also big shout out to everybody who joined the events today. And big shout out to everybody who's watching too. We appreciate you being here. And we look forward to collaborating. So thanks all. And onward we go. So, Sebastian, do you want to join me with a 3, 2, 1 go Eden Fractal? Does that sound good? Oh, Sebastian's frozen. He froze up. Okay, maybe I'll just do it here. 3, 2, 1. Go Eden Fractal. Thanks all. See you next time. Eden Town Hall.